don't know the power of the dark side.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes. Hello there.
Our lovable clone bunch, the Bad Batch, and their newly adopted clone daughter, Omega, are back again in Episode 2 and immediately find themselves in a world of trouble when landing on the far, far away planet called Saleucami. And not only do the Bad Batch and Omega have to deal with the drama the newly formed Galactic Empire creates for them, but the group of eccentric clones also learn a deep, dark secret from Omega that shocks them all, which we will get into in just a moment. But first, let's all just appreciate Wrecker's creativity in utilizing a Gonk droid as a dumbbell. I mean, you gotta build muscle somehow, right? And remember, this video does contain spoilers for Season 1, Episode 2 of The Bad Batch, so you've been warned. And now we must jump to the beginning, where the Bad Batch run into a clone trooper by the name of Cut and his family. And if you didn't know, Cut was also featured in Clone Wars Season 2, and he is actually a clone deserter who decided to leave the Republic behind to care for his wife and family. But now, Cut faces a serious problem. The newly formed Galactic Empire is arriving on his planet in droves and could easily discover him and his family, arresting him for his previous crimes of desertion. And this is not Cut's first experience with such a problem, as Captain Rex back in Season 2 threatened to report him as a deserter, but it was only after Rex helped fend off battle droids to save Cut and his family that Rex finally decided not to report Cut. So as you can see, Cut has an important backstory here and also has an important connection to Rex. And according to Cut in Episode 2 of The Bad Batch, Rex has already moved on, but Rex did mention to Cut that the clones had some sort of mysterious behavioral implant. And this is where things get really interesting, or maybe a bit worrying, because Omega immediately knows what the behavioral implant is and explains that it's actually called an inhibitor chip. And Hunter is shocked by this deep dark secret revealed by such a young person as Omega, and even more surprised when Tech knows about the chip too. And if Omega has knowledge of such information at such a young age, just how much more information does she know? And how much more is she not telling the Bad Batch? She has worked closely with the Kaminoans all this time, and if you recall in Episode 1, she indicated to Crosshair that she knew a lot more than she was letting on, and that what was happening to Crosshair was not his fault. This right here was a big indication that she knew about the inhibitor chip all along in Episode 1, but it's still a mystery why she kept it a secret until now. Cut is also suspicious of Omega as well, and reminds Hunter that the Kaminoans do not create without a purpose, and that Omega must have been created by the Kaminoans for a specific reason. The reason, though, still eludes Hunter and the Bad Batch, and I'm guessing this is going to be a pivotal plot point of the entire series. Whether it's a dark revelation or a good one has yet to be seen, but regardless, it appears that even Omega doesn't know what her true purpose is. And in this episode, we also got to witness just how quickly the new Galactic Empire overtakes a planet and instates their new policy onto their citizens, such as the fact that every citizen now requires a chain code in order to use the transports to get off-world. And what's really scary about all of this is the chain code acts as a type of registration, so that way the Galactic Empire can keep track of all of its citizens, keep tabs on their movements, and really keep an eye on what's going on. Very scary stuff indeed. And of course, this is a major problem for Cut, since he would be detected as a former deserter and charged by the Empire for desertion. Therefore, the Bad Batch devise a plan to replicate chain codes for Cut and his family to get them off planet, and while it works in the end, it isn't without its share of close calls and conflict. And let's just say, Wrecker gets himself into the usual trouble, but he manages to handle himself pretty well considering the odds. And as I just mentioned, in the end, they do manage to rescue Cut and his family, but a heartbreaking moment materializes when Omega discovers that Hunter wants her to go with Cut and his family in order to have a more normal life. And at first, she reluctantly decides to go with Cut, but knows deep down inside she belongs with Hunter and the Bad Batch, and she decides to stay with them. And it's here we see an admission from both Omega and Hunter. They both admit that they are new to all of this and have a lot to learn. Omega is totally unfamiliar with family bonding and making real friends. In fact, until recently, she had never even seen dirt before or truly interacted with children her age. While at the same time, Hunter is totally unequipped to play the parent role. And this parent-child dynamic between Hunter and Omega is really fascinating to see develop, and I'm sure this won't be the last time Hunter stumbles as he tries to navigate his way through parenting a mischievous clone like Omega. So even though this episode was much shorter than the first premiere episode, it still had a lot of character development and interesting moments in it that made us ask even more questions about Omega, her purpose, and just how much she knows about what is going on with the clones and their inhibitor chips. She is clearly valuable to the Kaminoans as Nala Se went out of her way to rescue Omega in episode 1, but again, it's still unclear of Nala Se's true intentions of why she values Omega so much. So leave your theories in the comments below. What do you think Omega's true purpose is, and why do you think she is so important to the Kaminoans? What other secrets could she be hiding from the Bad Batch? Sound off with your predictions and theories, as I always enjoy reading them and hearing what you have to say. And don't forget, Episode 3 of The Bad Batch releases next Friday on May 14th, and I'll be doing a complete video on that as well. So if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. And will we finally get to see Captain Rex in Episode 3? Will he make an appearance? He was mentioned briefly in Episode 2, of course, and I'm guessing that Episode 3 will have Captain Rex in it. And I want to thank you for watching, and please give this video a like as it helps get the word out about this video on YouTube. And again, if you're new here, smash that subscribe button like Wrecker would, and ring the bell icon to be notified of new upcoming videos. And until next time, take care, and may the Force be with you always.